People who love staying at home are not lazy or antisocial. They might have an actual psychological edge. Society celebrates the extroverted hustler who's always out there shaking hands. But here's the truth. Some of us genuinely thrive in the sanctuary of home. This isn't about fear or just shyness. It's a fundamental difference in how certain minds work, recharge, and find meaning. And if you ignore that difference, if you keep forcing yourself to fit into the extrovert mold, you'll burn out, you'll feel like an imposter, and you'll sabotage your potential. Think about it. If you believe loving home is a weakness, you'll never tap into the quiet superpowers that it actually gives you. You'll keep doubting yourself instead of using your natural strengths. You end up exhausted from trying to be someone that you're not, missing the brilliance and the creativity that happens when you embrace your own amazing style. So let's look at Sir Isaac Newton. In 1665, the Great Plague shut down his university, forcing him to stay home. So what did he do? He retreated to his family farm, a quiet space where his mind could wander interrupted. And in that 1 year of wonders, he developed calculus and the laws of gravity. A year stuck at home birthed ideas that changed the world. His solitude became his superpower, not some setback. There's no place like home when it comes to breakthroughs, and even science proves it. And I try to live that too. I mean, at a big event in LA I went to, was packed, VIP dinners, parties. I skipped the networking. Instead, I took a walk, went to Subway, grabbed a sandwich, and ate alone in the hotel lobby. Why? I'm an introvert. I don't like big group dinners. I like one-on-one stuff. Sitting there by myself, I filmed a video and I admitted that I needed just alone time to recharge, and that was okay. And I expected some backlash, but what I got was actually a lot of people supporting me. So many people that they said that they were relieved that they've been going through mixers and feeling like imposters and pretending to be extroverts when they saw something now real. And so your vulnerability can help flip that script. Being a homebody isn't something to hide. It can be a source of authenticity that others find inspiring. Now, you might be thinking, but if I love staying at home, am I missing out on opportunities? Don't I have to be out there hustling 24/7? And it sounds logical, but quality beats quantity. If you force endless networking when your heart screams for quiet, you'll never bring your A game. You'll show up drained, a second-rate version of yourself. So instead, imagine leveraging your love of home as your strength. And you prepare in peace. You think deeper. You come up with better ideas. And then when you do step out, you can hit the world with clarity and purpose. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be fully present when it matters. The world doesn't need another fake extrovert. It needs you, operating at 100% awesomeness. So how do you make the most of this stay-at-home superpower? Let's break down the psychology of people who love staying at home and how you can use those traits to win in life and in business. Get ready to see why your quiet, home-loving nature might be the best thing that ever happened to your entrepreneurial journey. Now, if you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. The hidden strength of your inner world. Staying at home isn't dull for you. It's deeply engaging. Home lovers often have vibrant inner worlds with minds that are active and creative and perfectly happy without constant external input. While others need the buzz of a crowd or the next social event to feel alive, you generate your own mental stimulation through reading and dreaming and watching YouTube videos and creating and learning. And that rich inner life, that's actually a goldmine for entrepreneurs. It means you can dive into more complex problems or creative projects solo and make some major serious progress. You're like a scientist in a lab or a writer in a cabin. That's your element. In fact, psychologists have noted how solitude sparks creativity. Ever notice your best aha ideas come in the shower or on a quiet walk? That's because solitude lets your mind wander and tap into your brain's default mode network, the part that connects dots and spawns insights. Research even shows introverts are more likely to hit a flow state when they're alone. So that time you spend happily at home, lost in thought, that's not a liability. It's actually how you create innovation. And guess what? Some of the greatest breakthroughs happened in quiet isolation. We already talked about Newton using a year at home and he revolutionized science. Closer to now our time, Bill Gates famously schedules think weeks where he secludes himself in a cabin with a stack of books to come up with new ideas for Microsoft. The world's winners often retreat to advance. So your love of staying home gives you access to that focus and depth. Use it. Brainstorm business ideas on a quiet evening. Teach yourself a new skill online while others are out there partying. In those focused hours, you can create your prototype, the strategy, the art that others only daydream about. Your home, it's not a prison. It's your playground. It's where you can be creative for your mind. Mastering emotions and energy at home. So here's another hidden advantage. People who love staying at home tend to have strong emotional self-regulation. You don't need constant distraction or validation from other people to feel okay. You're comfortable with silence and stillness. It's awesome. Where others might get antsy and grab their phone or run for the next thrill, right? This ability to sit with yourself means you can process emotions. You can handle setbacks head on. As an entrepreneur, resilience is massive. Business is an emotional up and down roller coaster. One day you're on top of the world, you made a huge sale. Next day you're facing massive rejection. If you've trained yourself to handle emotions in the quiet of your house, your room, you won't crumble and fall apart when things get tough. While others chase quick distractions to avoid feeling stress, you face it, you adapt, you grow. It's like a form of mental toughness and maturity forged in those hard, alone moments. And hand in hand is how you manage your energy. So homebodies are highly selective with where they invest their social energy. You know it's a finite resource, so you protect it. That's not avoidance, it's a strategy. Rather than scattering your time across 10 shallow meetings, you'd rather have 1 or 2 deep, meaningful conversations. Rather than signing up for every Zoom hangout, you choose the interactions that matter. This means when you do engage, you show up fully. Think about it. Having fewer but richer relationships in business can lead to more powerful mentorship, partnerships, and loyalty. It's the classic quality over quantity. By staying home sometimes, you're actually filtering out the noise and focusing your energy where it actually counts. So I try to do this. I literally schedule time to recharge. After hosting a 5-day mastermind in my city of Toronto for YouTube creators trying to get to the next level, 5 days of people hanging around all day, I just shut down. Everybody went home, and then I'm not doing anything today. It's just recovery day. I'll see you tomorrow, right? I might share that message on social media. It's strategic self-care after so much high energy, which just gives me permission to reset. And that recovery day is not lazy. It's just necessary for me to come back stronger. So give yourself that grace. Use your home time to replenish. When you feel your battery is draining out, cancel that unnecessary meeting and spend an hour alone to just think or just relax. Protect your energy like it's a precious asset, because for you, it actually is the making up of what will make you great. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you, covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways. It helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description and go grab it. I'll see you there. Home as your sanctuary, your freedom and safety. So let's talk about why home feels so powerful for you. Home is your psychological safe zone. It offers predictability in a very unpredictable world. Your lighting, your couch, your favorite mug on your desk, right? You're in control. There's no surprise social situations to navigate in your living room. No loud coworker barging in when you're in a zone. For those of us who process the world intensely, that control is actually essential. The outside world can be exhausting, the noise, the chatter, the pressure to perform. But at home, you can breathe. You can hear yourself think. It's freedom from all the roles that you're expected to play outside. You don't have to put on a show or wear a mask. At home, there's no need to perform or meet anyone else's standards. You can just be you. And that authenticity that you can cultivate in private becomes a secret weapon. Why? Because if you know who you are and you're comfortable in your own skin, when no one's watching, you can become unshakable when people are watching. You're not acting out of a need to please other people. You're acting out of who you are, your true self. This is the foundation of confidence. And so one of the reasons why people say like, oh, you don't wear a mask on camera, it's easier and more sustainable to be authentic. So it's really hard. I would burn out quickly trying to be somebody else. Be yourself. It's a lot easier to keep going. Home is where you cultivate that authentic self. It's your launching pad. Think of it like Superman's fortress of solitude. You know, you go there, you reflect, you train, you strengthen your mind so you can fly out into the world, right? You're ready to handle anything. And there's a huge creative freedom in this too. At home, you have permission to experiment and fail safely. You can film practice videos and delete them. You can sketch out your product ideas that never actually get released. You can brainstorm crazy strategies on your whiteboard, all without the world's judgment of you. And the freedom feeds innovation. It's like a sandbox where you can play and do whatever you want with it. Many great entrepreneurs started in a garage or dorm room for exactly this reason. They needed a safe space to tinker. Your home is your sandbox. So value that. It's awesome. It's giving you the freedom to pursue mastery without fear that someone's watching you or waiting for you to mess up. Use that freedom to its fullest. Train your skills, refine your ideas, build your confidence. When it comes time to go public, you'll be miles ahead of the person who spent all their time just trying to look good in public, but never put in the quiet work. The power of observation and reflection. So people who love staying at home often prefer to watch and listen rather than steal the spotlight. So you might feel more like an observer than a performer. And guess what? That's an awesome advantage. Observers catch details, they catch patterns, insights that loud performers they miss. And as an entrepreneur, being able to truly listen to customers or observe gaps in the market, that is a superpower. Research backs this up. Studies have found that introverts tend to be better listeners, they're more observant, and they're more reflective thinkers. Those traits are critical for innovation. They help you see what others don't see, to solve the problems that others aren't even noticing. While the extroverts are out there busy talking, you're taking notes. You're understanding what's really going on. And your tendency to step back means you often think before you speak or act. And that reflective nature can save you from impulsive mistakes. It allows you to create thoughtful strategies. So for example, instead of rushing into a trendy business idea, you might spend an evening quietly analyzing if it actually fits your mission. That kind of reflection is really valuable. Listening more than you talk also builds stronger relationships. People love to be heard. So in a meeting, you might not be the loudest voice, but when you do speak, it's clear you paid attention, and that can wow your clients or investors far more than just talking. Your calm, observant demeanor can become part of your leadership style. The leader who doesn't need to dominate the room, but whose words carry weight because everyone knows this person sees things. So I share how at networking events, I sometimes feel out of place next to big personalities, wondering why anyone would want to listen to me. But over time, I realized that introverts, we can be leaders too, by serving and listening, not necessarily by being the loudest. I'm not going to win by being the loudest. So I found other ways to win, like making one meaningful connection at an event instead of working the entire room. Remember, you don't have to change your stripes, right, to be successful. You just double down on the strengths that come with being a quieter, more observant person, right? Your depth, your thoughtfulness, your ability to spot things, see things, those give you a competitive advantage. The world has plenty of talkers, right? It needs more doers and thinkers. That's you. Busting myths about homebodies. So let's shatter some of the myths that might be creeping in your mind or the peanut gallery around you and set the record straight about homebodies. Myth number 1, you're antisocial. No, you're selective. Preferring home doesn't mean you dislike people or can't socialize. You simply invest your social energy where it matters most. You value deep connections over dozens of surface level interactions. That's a strength, not a flaw. Myth number 2, you must be lonely. Wrong. Solitude and loneliness are completely different. Being alone by choice can be joyful and energizing. You actually enjoy your own company. It's a time to think, to create, to relax. As the famous saying goes, loneliness is being alone and not liking it. Solitude is being alone and loving it. You've mastered the art of solitude and it makes you happy, not sad. Myth number 3, you're missing out on life. So this one is really common. Society might whisper that if you're not out at every party or every networking event, that you're not living fully. But that's a cultural bias. It's not actually reality. You're not missing out. You're diving in, just in a different way. While others are chasing new experiences out there, you're finding meaning in the experiences that you are choosing to have. Life isn't about checking off a FOMO list. It's about fulfillment. And you've discovered that a quiet evening, working on your dream on a Sunday night, recharging your spirit is deeply fulfilling. In fact, this trait, the preference for staying home, is becoming more common and more understood. Modern life can be so full of noise and burnout that a lot of people are realizing that constant activity is not the answer. Choosing a night in to read, to think, or just rest is now seen as a smart move for mental health and happiness. So you're ahead of the curve if you're on this. You're not weird for loving your home. In many ways, you're actually really smart. Embrace your wiring and leverage it. So by now you should be seeing a theme that we're building here. That thing that you thought was holding you back is actually part of what can drive you forward. The key is to embrace your wiring and then leverage it with intention. So stop apologizing for staying in on Friday to work on you. You own it, you use it, you set up your life in a way that honors your need for home base while still pushes you towards your goals. So let's look at a few practical ways to make the most of this. First, schedule your solo time and treat it as sacred. So use that time proactively, whether it's learn a new skill, or you're planning your business plan, or you're just recharging so you can perform at your peak tomorrow. Block it off in your calendar if you have to. Successful introverts often design their routines around bursts of focused solitude. So for me, example, I structure my days of the week with certain days packed with calls or interviews, and other days I'm just working on projects quietly. I like to balance the output with the input, the external with the internal. You can do the same. Second, when you do go into high social situations, go with a purpose and a plan. You might decide, I'm going to this conference, but my goal is to have meaningful conversations with 3 people, not to collect 50 random business cards. That way you don't feel pressure to be someone that you're not. You play to your strengths, your ability to listen, to observe, to connect one-on-one. And after that, you give yourself permission to head home and to recharge. It's about rhythm. Engage with the world, then retreat and refuel. Like a boxer coming back to their corner between rounds, right? That's you with your home. And a pro tip, when you're out of your comfort zone, reframe it as service or learning. So I'll still feel anxious before big speaking days, but I remind myself, why am I doing this? Why am I making this video right now? To serve, to reach people, and that pushes me through the discomfort. So you can borrow that mindset. I'll step out of my cozy zone, not because I have to fake it, but because I have something valuable to share, and then I'll go recharge. Cool. Third, double down on those solo strengths in your business. If you're great at writing but hate big meetings, maybe you will shine by creating amazing blog content or video scripts from home that attract clients to you. If you're a product builder who hates networking, put more energy into building an awesome product in your garage. Let the results speak for themselves. There are many different paths to success. Carve one that aligns with who you are. As long as you're delivering value, people won't care how you get there or how many nights you spent at home doing it. They'll just see the results, and the results will be better because you built them from a place of authenticity and strength. And remember, your identity is not a limitation, it's an advantage. So shift the story that you tell about yourself, that I'm just a homebody, to I'm a focused, introspective powerhouse. See the difference? This is the belief transfer that I want from you, to go from doubting that part of yourself to moving with confidence and ultimately embracing it as part of your entrepreneurial identity. I like to say your purpose comes from your pain. The struggles that you felt as a quiet, stay-at-home type can become the drive to create something special. Maybe you'll build an app that helps introverts network on their own terms, or you're going to write a book that validates those who also feel the same way. Who knows? The point is, don't wish away who you are. Leverage who you are. Some extra motivation. So, as a little bonus, if you love staying at home, you're not broken. You're just wired differently, and that difference is a strength. You have developed the ability to generate your own motivation, to regulate your own emotions, and to create a life that's true to you. In a world that never stops demanding more noise, you found clarity in the quiet. That is something to celebrate. So the next time someone implies that you're missing out, or you catch yourself feeling guilty for not getting out more, I want you to remember what we talked about here today. You have an edge that most people don't understand. Use it. The quiet ones are often the ones changing the game behind the scenes. So it's time to fully step into your identity as a home-loving achiever. No more doubt. From now on, carry your head high. This is who I am, and it's my superpower. Move forward with that confidence. And yes, push yourself when your mission requires it, but know that your strength comes from staying grounded in your zone. You've got a quiet fire inside, and it's motivation for something great. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn how you can overcome your self-doubt. Self-doubt is selfish. It whispers that you can't do it, and it tricks you into making it all about you. So think about it. When it's your turn to speak up, to pitch, to lead, and you freeze, who are you thinking of? You're focused on yourself, your fear, your image, your chance of messing up. Meanwhile, the people that you are meant to serve or inspire are left waiting. That's the cost of listening to your self-doubt. If you keep letting it paralyze you, opportunities will slip by, and someone with less talent but more courage will seize the moment instead of you. Your dreams will die while you stand on the sidelines, and that's a harsh truth, and I know you don't want that. Look at one of the richest, most successful entrepreneurs ever, Warren Buffett. Today, Buffett speaks to arenas filled with 40,000 people, but it nearly never happened. Why? He was terrified of public speaking. In his early 20s, just the thought of getting up in front of a group made him physically ill, literally. I was so terrified that I just couldn't do it. I would throw up. I arranged my life so I never had to get up in front of anybody, Buffett said. That is the man known as the Oracle of Omaha, a genius investor, and he was ready to orchestrate his entire career to avoid speaking to even a small crowd. But then he realized if he didn't conquer that fear, his business ambitions would go nowhere. So what did he do? He forced himself to face it. He enrolled in a Dale Carnegie public speaking course after chickening out once before. This time, he literally handed the instructor $100 in cash and said, "Take it before I change my mind." He knew he had to burn the boats, remove any escape route. In that course, Buffett learned something crucial. Get out of your own head. He realized if he could chat with someone one-on-one for 5 minutes before, there was no reason he couldn't talk to 5 or 50 people except his own mindset. And through practice and some psychological tricks, he reworked how he saw those nerves. When his palms got sweaty and heart was pounding, he trained himself to say, "I'm excited," instead of "I'm scared," turning anxiety into anticipation. And it worked. He calls that public speaking certificate the most important degree I have, more vital than his college degrees. Why? Because it set him free. It gave him belief. The man who once ran from every spotlight can now confidently hold court with tens of thousands. His fear was real, but he beat it. And because he did, the world got to benefit from his ideas. Now, you might say, okay, sure, Buffett did it. But Evan, do you know how crippling it feels when it's my turn? Listen, I do. People see me now on big stages and 4 million subscribers on YouTube and think that I was always confident. Nope. Let me take you back to one of the scariest moments of my life. I was invited to speak at an event in Whistler. And on the morning of, I found out the lineup. I'm going right after David Goggins and right before Peyton Manning. Goggins may be the most intense human on the planet, the guy who runs on broken legs and inspires millions with his toughness. And Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, a literal living legend. And then me. In the middle, I'm reading that schedule and my heart stops. Imposter syndrome slams into me like a truck. I thought, what the heck can I possibly say? Why did they put me here? In that instant, I wanted to disappear. My confidence completely froze up. But this is my chance to shine. And every fiber of my being was saying, you don't belong on this stage. Maybe you should just get sick, skip out. It was that bad, that the exact kind of panic you feel when it's your turn and you're convinced that you can't do it. So how did I get out there and speak? I did 2 things. First, I flipped from selfishness to service. I literally told myself, why are you here? Not for your ego, you're here to help. There are people in that audience that need to hear from you. There's something that I can share that even David Goggins or Peyton Manning can't. Peyton knows football, but Peyton doesn't know YouTube. I do. I have unique value I can give to these people. I shifted focus off of me and onto them. So even if I wasn't the most famous name on the stage, I was there for a reason, to serve. Second, I refuse to run. This is a personal rule of mine. If something is scary, difficult, hard, and that's the only reason I want to say no, then I have to say yes. I don't want to be the person who runs some hard things. So in that Whistler moment, I asked myself, Evan, are you proud of the reason you're about to back out? And the answer was no. Feeling scared is not a good enough reason. So I squared my shoulders and I walked out on that stage, still shaking, but determined to give as much value as I could. Was I as intense as Goggins or as famous as Manning? No, but I poured everything into serving that audience and it went great. People came up to me afterwards and said my message hit them hard and it was exactly what they needed. If I had let my self-doubt win, I would have robbed those people of a message that could have helped them. And I would have robbed myself of a massive growth experience. Now, I got this question from one of our subscribers, Mr. Ballroom, who asked, when it comes to my turn, I get very, very worried. I feel like I can't do anything. That comment hit me because that was me before and it was Buffett and it was so many of us. Now you might be feeling the same way right now. Your big opportunity comes, all eyes are on you, and suddenly you're trembling, your mind goes blank, you're convinced you're going to fail or look foolish. You feel like you literally can't do anything. But that feeling is a liar. It's not that you can't do anything. It's that you haven't done it yet. You haven't learned the tools to push through that wall of fear. And that's what we're going to change right now in this video. Strategy number 1, do it because you're scared. The push. The first strategy is to use fear as your signal to act, not retreat. When your brain says, this is scary, maybe we should back out, you're going to tell yourself the opposite. Make it a habit. If the only reason you're hesitant is fear, then that is your green light. You go. No excuses. Why? Because every time you do the thing you're afraid to do, you teach yourself that fear doesn't control you. You control you. It's like a muscle. You build confidence by doing. Remember Buffett? He knew if he didn't sign up for that class, his fear would win. He had to do the scary thing
thing or live a smaller life. He chose to do it. And each speech, he got a tiny bit better. By the end of the course, he wasn't throwing up anymore. He was actually pretty good as a speaker. But it only happened because he took action while still scared. Stop waiting to not be afraid. That's not how it works. Action is the antidote to fear. When you do the thing, you get evidence that your fear was exaggerated or just plain false. Even if you stumble, you survive it and realize, hey, that wasn't the end of the world. I'm stronger than I thought. Each win builds your identity just a little bit more. You become someone who faces things, not someone who flees. And that shift in mindset is everything. Now, I'm not saying go in blind. Preparation is great, but don't over-prepare as an excuse to never actually do the thing. You have to step onto the court and get in the game to get better at the game. Practice under pressure if you can. Science shows that practicing in conditions similar to the real performance improves your success in high-pressure situations. So rehearse your speech with a few friends as audience. Simulate that pitch in a setting that feels more real. You'll train your nerves to handle the pressure, the heat. The more you put yourself in game time situations, the more normal it becomes and the less scary it is. You think I magically stopped being afraid of big stages after Whistler? No, I stayed scared, but I kept speaking on more stages. Every new rep, I was a little less shaky, a little more confident. I went on to a 23-city speaking tour to purposely push my comfort zone. We did 23 cities in 90 days. I even fainted in Denver and broke my neck, and I still kept going. Why? Because I asked myself, am I proud of the reason to stop? And the answer was no. I wasn't going to quit just because it got hard. I put on my neck brace. This is a true story. It still sits there on my shelf there. I put on my neck brace and I continued to tour. You don't need to break your neck like I did. Please don't. But you do need that level of resolve. If fear is the only thing holding you back, then there is no way in hell that you're going to let fear win. Make that your mindset. Strategy number 2, focus on service, not yourself, the hug. This is the flip side of the coin. Your doubt loves to make you the star of a horror movie in your mind. The spotlight's on you when you're getting booed and laughed at, exposed. It's all me, me, me. It's time to get out of your head and put the spotlight where it belongs, on the people that you are serving. So here's what I do whenever I feel those nerves. I find one person to help. I'll literally meet someone in the audience beforehand or imagine a viewer who's struggling, and I lock in on being useful to that one person. I ask myself, why are you getting on this stage at this meeting on this video? The answer is never for my big ego, right? The answer is to help. You have knowledge, experience, energy that can change someone's life or at least change their day. That's why you're here. Even if you're just pitching your startup to investors, don't think of it as I need their money and I'm begging. No, think I have an opportunity that's going to make their money grow and make customer lives better. I am here to give them a gift. See the difference? Now you're coming from a place of service and value, not insecurity and weakness. Evan Carmichael on stage in full ego mode is a disaster. Evan Carmichael on stage in service mode can do anything. And it's the same for you. Service mode kills self-doubt because your mind shifts from what do they think of me to how can I make them better? When I was freaking out about following Goggins and Manning, I calmed down by saying someone in this crowd needs my message. I might be the only person to hear it from in a way that makes it stick for them. Suddenly it's not about me anymore. It's about them. And I can't wait to help. Even if my voice cracks or I forget a line, if I connect with that one person who needs it, I've done my job. I literally would tell myself, even if I suck, hopefully I can get through to a couple people today. My intention is to serve and to help. And that mindset shift is everything. At least it is for me. Try it. The next time you feel that wave of worry, consciously flip it. Focus on one face in the room, one person you know, or even your past self who needed someone to step up for them. Speak to that one person. Make it about delivering a message or an outcome that helps them, not about protecting your pride. Gratitude here can help too. Be grateful for the chance to touch someone's life rather than fearful of what they'll think. When you operate from service, authenticity comes out naturally. Your passion shows. And guess what? People respond to it. They don't care if you're not the most polished presenter, if they feel your heart and they receive value. Ironically, focusing on others also makes you perform better because you're not overanalyzing yourself in the moment. You become a conduit for a message instead of the victim of your own self-doubt. So hug the audience, figuratively, or even literally if it's appropriate, with your attention. Love on them. Give, give, give. You'll find there isn't room in your head for fear when your heart is full of service. Strategy number 3, reframe the story you're telling yourself. Self-doubt ultimately lives in your head. It's a story. It's a voiceover narrative that says, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I'm going to fail. To overcome it, you have to change the internal narrative in real time. To do that, reframe what failure means in that moment. A huge part of self-doubt is fear of failure or embarrassment. Okay, so let's play that out. What if you do stumble on your words, or your demo crashes, or you get a tough question that you don't know how to answer? In your head, that's a catastrophe. But in reality, it's just feedback. It's a lesson. If you fail in front of people, guess what? You survived, right? You might even get a laugh from the crowd and humanize yourself for a minute. Or you learn exactly what to improve the next time. Failure feels like it's final, like you're dying, but that's just your ego talking. It's actually growth. I recently did an interview with an entrepreneur named Alvin that fell apart due to tech issues, but it became one of the best stories and confidence builders. Why? Because we owned it instead of running. I told him the easiest thing to do was to not post it. This was an interview that he had tech issues. He was in an Airbnb. He was losing connection every 5 minutes. He would come in, ask the question, and then freeze, and I would answer the question, and then we just pretty horrible experience. And I was laughing at it. Like, I really hope that he posts his video, because it's such a great example of moving forward when there's a lot of problems where most people would quit. So the confidence building thing to do is to make the best of what you've got and you keep going. He posted it, glitches and all, and it ended up being inspiring because it was real. We turned that failure into a win. Do the same thing with your fear. Decide that even if the worst happens, you'll figure it out and keep moving. Decide now that no failure is going to stop you. When you take away that fear of failure, self-doubt has nothing left to hold over you. Here's another powerful identity reframe. Stop saying I'm not a confident person, or I'm just bad at public speaking. Don't attach those labels to who you are. They're not set in stone. Instead, you can tell yourself, I'm learning to be a great speaker, or I'm becoming the kind of leader who steps up. Do you recognize the difference? You're not stuck as one thing. You're always in progress if you want to be. You're the kind of person who grows. Every single time you face fear and you do it anyway, you are literally redefining yourself in your own eyes. You go from someone who doubts to someone who does, from someone who worries to someone who works it out. It doesn't happen overnight, but each decision is a vote for the new identity that you want in yourself. And you can borrow belief during that transition. Maybe right now you don't fully believe that you can be the bold, confident version of you. Cool. Borrow my belief in it until you get there. Borrow a famous entrepreneur's belief in it until you get there. I know you can do this. How? I've seen so many entrepreneurs, so many shy, nervous, everyday people transform by just following these principles. They weren't born ready. They built themselves up step by step. If they can, if I can, if a 21-year-old Buffett could, then why not you? Why not you? There is zero reason why you can't be the person who shines when it becomes your turn. So the next time that spotlight hits you and you feel the nerves, you'll remember this. Self-doubt is not invited to this party. You will push through fear by taking action. You will focus on serving. You will flip those nerves and excitement into growth. That's your new story. Not that you can't do anything when it's your turn, but that you show up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that's who you are becoming, a leader who leads, a speaker who speaks, a doer who does. You can do this. In fact, you're going to do this. Starting now. You're here right now, working on yourself, and that already sets you apart from the masses. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up and doing the work to conquer your self-doubt.
Now let's learn why momentum beats motivation.
Motivation is overrated. Momentum beats motivation every single time. We are told to find your motivation before taking action, but if you keep waiting for some lightning bolt of inspiration to strike, you'll waste days, months, even years, and nothing will change. You'll watch your goals slip further away as you sit there hoping to feel ready. Remember the famous fable of the tortoise and the hare? The speedy hare bursts out full of energy and confidence while the tortoise plods along slowly and steadily. The hare's initial motivation fades. He gets lazy, takes a nap, loses momentum. Meanwhile, the tortoise just keeps moving forward without stopping. And who wins? The slow, steady tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. In other words, consistent momentum beats spurts of motivation. I learned this firsthand in my own life. I'm an introvert who actually hates being on camera. And every Thursday morning, I wake up nervous for the day ahead. Thursday is my day for public interviews and podcasts, and basically an introvert's nightmare. Every bone in my body wants to cancel and hide, but I committed to it, so I show up even without motivation. And you know what? Once it gets started, it's amazing. Every single time, 5 minutes in, I'm energized and in my groove, and that momentum carries me through the entire day. Even when my motivation was zero at the start, momentum makes it happen. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but what if I have no motivation to even start? How do I build momentum then? Great question. Action comes before motivation, not the other way around. Science has proven it. We often assume We need to feel inspired to act, but psychology research shows it's actually by taking action, even a tiny step, that you generate motivation. It's like pushing a car. The hardest part is getting it rolling. Once it's moving, it's easy to keep it moving. Think about a time you force yourself to start a task or hit the gym when you really didn't want to. After a few minutes, you probably found your rhythm and suddenly felt fired up to finish. You weren't motivated at the start, but once you started, you became motivated to finish. That's momentum in action. So if you're waiting for momentum first, switch it. Just start moving and the motivation will show up after you're in motion. Momentum beats motivation every time because momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Now, let's get into how you can harness momentum to achieve your goals and why it will always outshine motivation. Let's go. All right, let's dive into why momentum beats motivation and how you can make momentum work for you. Motivation is fickle, momentum is reliable. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings are unpredictable. Some days you might wake up pumped up, and other days you can't even open your inbox without groaning. If you only work on your goals when you feel like it, you'll spend a lot of time stuck waiting. It's like standing on a train platform hoping the train shows up without ever checking the schedule. By contrast, momentum doesn't care how you feel. Momentum isn't about mood or inspiration. It just needs you to take that first step. The moment you start moving, the motion itself becomes the motivator. Let's look at physics. An object at rest stays at rest, but an object in motion stays in motion. Once you get yourself in motion, it's so much easier to keep going. So for example, you tell yourself, you'll work for just 10 minutes, so clean one drawer or write one paragraph. Next thing you know, you've been at it for 30 to 40 minutes and made some serious progress. That's the quiet power of momentum. It often starts small and doesn't feel dramatic, but it grows quietly with each little action. So check off one task and suddenly you are on a roll. Momentum builds progress even when you're not in the zone at first. The key here is don't wait for the perfect mood or inspiration. If your productivity depends on being in the right mood, you'll lose a ton of time waiting around. Waiting for motivation is actually one of the most expensive delays in your success. Instead, just start moving. Do something, anything small, and momentum will kick in and carry you forward. When motivation does show up, great, ride that wave. But if it's not there, you keep going anyway with momentum. You'll find that momentum will create motivation as you go. Momentum builds confidence and identity through progress. So every tiny step forward that you make is a win that boosts your confidence and your belief. Research from Harvard Business School calls this the progress principle. Even small daily progress can significantly boost your motivation and performance. Why? Because those small wins trigger a positive spiral. You feel good about making progress, which makes you want to do even more. And those wins build trust in yourself. Each day that you show up and hit a tiny goal, you're reinforcing the identity of, I'm the kind of person who follows through. And over time, you stop being someone who wants to change and you become someone who is making that change happen. Your self-image shifts from, I hope I can do this, to I know I do this. And that is incredibly powerful. I've seen this in my own journey. When I started my YouTube channel, growth was painfully slow. Year one, I had only 25 subscribers. 5 years in, I was still a few thousand subscribers in. Most people would have looked at those numbers and said, this is failure. Why bother? In fact, most people quit way too soon. But I kept making videos because I wasn't focused on that immediate payoff. I loved the process and believed in the mission to try to help people. Most people quit too soon, and all I had going for me was I kept going. I put in the reps, video after video, and gradually momentum kicked in. My skills improved, the audience slowly built up. It took 10 years to hit 1 million subscribers, but then in the next 5 years, I grew to 4 million subscribers. Today, we're over 4 million strong. And that massive success only happened because of momentum, the result of years of consistent action, not because I had some huge burst of motivation or overnight viral hit. Quantity leads to quality over time. By showing up consistently, I got better and better, and more people found value in my content. Momentum built my confidence too. Every new video, even if it helped only 50 or 100 people, made me feel more like I'm a YouTuber on a mission and less like I'm an imposter. And each small win added up. So here's the lesson. Progress, even small, is super motivating. When you see yourself making even a tiny bit of progress each day, you feel proud and motivated to continue. If you write one page page of your book today. You're a person who writes, and that builds your identity as a writer. Do it again tomorrow and the next day, and soon you believe in yourself as an author. But if you wait for big bursts of motivation, you stay stuck at page 0 and start doubting yourself. Momentum gives you proof of progress, which gives you confidence to push further. Momentum produces real results, while motivation alone just produces plans. At the end of the day, you get results from consistent action, not from thinking about action. You can be super motivated one random afternoon and write 10 pages or do an intense 4-hour workout, but one big push once in a while can't compete with small actions repeated every day. Why? Because consistency beats intensity. Momentum is like compounding interest on your goals. Those little efforts compound into huge payoffs over time. Motivation, on the other hand, is like that one-time spark. It's really bright for a moment, and then it fades. Look at any top performer. You look at your favorite athletes and musicians, entrepreneurs, artists, the most successful ones, they have routines. They practice their craft daily, often even when they don't feel like it, while everyone else works sporadically. And the result, the consistent ones improve faster and achieve more. When you show up and you deliver day after day, you outperform the people who work only when inspiration strikes. One of my favorite examples is Jerry Seinfeld. He became one of the greatest comedians, not by waiting for comedic inspiration, but by writing jokes every single day. Whether this is true or not, there's a legendary story about a famous technique he had where he'd have a big wall calendar and mark an X for every day that he wrote material. And soon after, he had a chain of X's, day after day after day of writing. His only rule was don't break the chain. It didn't matter if he was in a hilarious mood or not, or if the jokes were any good that day. He focused on not breaking that daily chain. That daily momentum created a massive volume of work and improvement in his skills. And over time, those daily jokes turned into hit routines and TV material. Momentum made Seinfeld prolific. And the same principle applies to you. If you want to get in shape, doing a modest workout every day will beat a huge workout that you do only when you feel pumped. If you want to write a book, writing 200 words every morning will beat a 5,000 word marathon that you do only when inspiration hits once in a blue moon. By being consistent, you'll actually finish the book, you'll get in shape, you'll grow your business, or whatever your goal is right now. Plus, the steady momentum can carry you through the setbacks that are going to come. When you have a routine, a bad day doesn't derail you. You get up the next day and you get back on track. Also, mastery follows consistency. You get better through repetition. There's a great quote that says, "So often we assume that excellence requires a monumental effort and incredible doses of willpower and motivation, but really all we need is dedication to small, manageable tasks. Mastery follows consistency." In other words, you don't have to make some grand heroic push. You just have to keep showing up. Tiny improvements made consistently lead to massive improvements long term. That's where real results come from. Momentum kept me going through 350 terrible videos until I started making good ones. Momentum is what will keep you going through the early rough drafts, the awkward first business pitches, the initial slow days of progress until you actually hit your stride. And once you've got momentum on your side, nothing can stop you. Now, you might be thinking, all right, I get it. Momentum is key, but how do I build momentum if I have none? Let's get practical. Building momentum is not about those giant leaps. It's about taking tiny moves consistently. So here's a simple plan you can use to get momentum working in your favor. Start ridiculously small, but start today. Pick one tiny action you can do right now and every day going forward. Make it so easy you can't make an excuse not to do it. If you want to write, commit to writing for just 5 minutes a day or one sentence, something that is laughably small. If you want to get fit, start with 10 push-ups or a 5-minute walk. The key is to begin, because beginning is where momentum lives. Next, use a trigger or routine. Choose a consistent time or situation to do your tiny action. So for example, always right after you brush your teeth in the morning, you write your first sentence. Or every day at 7 a.m., you go out the door for that walk. A routine cue helps your brain associate that moment with go time. It takes the thinking out of it and makes starting more automatic. Next, track your streak. Use a visual tracker. It could be a simple calendar or habit tracking app, and mark each day you complete your tiny action. Seeing a chain of days build up is incredibly satisfying and reinforces your new identity as someone who shows up consistently. Try the Seinfeld technique. Put an X on each day you do it and aim to keep the chain going. And that little visual motivator can push you to not break the streak. Next, remove friction. Make it as easy as possible to start your task each day. Set your workout clothes the night before. Keep the guitar in the middle of the room if you're learning to play. Close the social media tabs on your computer. Fewer obstacles mean fewer excuses. Momentum loves a clear runway. So set yourself up so starting your action is effortless. These steps might sound almost too easy, but that's exactly the point. Momentum starts with small, easy wins. When you do this, you'll notice something amazing. On the days you really don't feel like it, if you at least do your tiny action, you'll often end up doing more. You'll just write one sentence and end up writing the whole page. You'll plan to do 5 minutes of exercise and end up doing 15. But even if you only do the tiny action, you've kept the momentum alive. One day's bare minimum might not feel like much, but keeping the chain unbroken is what keeps your momentum alive. And that momentum is gold. By following this approach, momentum will become a habit. You won't need to psych yourself up with big motivational speeches each day. The habit will carry you. You'll become a person who just does the thing daily. And that identity and routine will carry you farther than motivation ever could.
For 26 years of brutally honest business advice, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Most of what you've been taught about success is designed to keep you safe, not to 10x your life. Over the next 3 hours, we are stripping away the theories and looking at the raw, unfiltered reality of what it takes to build something from nothing.